If you want to authentically grow your business and brand, then stick around because today I'm sharing exactly how to go about it. These strategies all require zero upfront investment, are organic, and are low and no cost. And the best part is you can get started using them today. Authentic marketing was the topic of a very, very recent IGTV live that I did with Hinley Wong, who's a copywriter. And the funny part about it is that Hinley and I both met through authentic networking, which is an authentic marketing strategy. So I regularly do interviews with new and aspiring entrepreneurs, generally folks who have been in business a year or less or aspire to be in business. And I do them for the purpose of trying to learn more about what everybody needs so that I can create better tools and resources for them. The reason I had connected with Hinley was because way back when he signed up as a volunteer for my project, which was awesome, and we've been connected ever since. In today's conversation, we share all of the benefits that we received as a result of connecting this way, as well as other various strategies and tactics that you can do to put more authenticity in your marketing starting today. So let's go ahead and dive into that conversation.
I think there are a lot of people now starting up online businesses, right? Because it's the pandemic. Everybody is looking to go online with their skills. And right, like especially for newer entrepreneurs, right? They have to go the more organic route because and they don't have huge budgets to spend on marketing. And hey Marie, oh, hey Marie, it's so good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Um, so since you do specialize in organic marketing, like tell us a little bit more. Like, what do you mean by organic marketing?
Sure. So I think you actually hit the nail on the head right there that, new entrepreneurs especially, you don't have a big budget. But there's another stance that I take, which is very different for a lot of business coaches and especially folks online. I am not of the belief at all that new entrepreneurs should really focus on social media content. And there's a reason for that. So
Ooh,
everybody's saying
juicy. Let's
like
get into it.
create Instagram posts, do this, do that. I think that is the biggest waste of time as a new entrepreneur. And reason why is because when you're a new, you're not super clear on who it is you should be serving yet. And in order for content to really reach the right people, for the algorithms to say, hey, this is relevant to who it is you want to show it to, the
Right.
algorithm isn't going to show that until you know who that person is. So for new entrepreneurs, it is not the most effective strategy. And I also find too, what a lot of new entrepreneurs do is they'll use content creation because creating content makes them feel like they're busy and that they're actually taking action towards their business. But what they're really doing is they're prolonging the inevitable, which is to get on the phone with people and talk about your offer. Right. So it's what ends
Yeah.
up happening if you're creating good content, people are calling you and they're wanting to buy your services. But if you don't know how to talk to people and how to sell your services, you're still in the same exact boat. So the way that I teach entrepreneurs how to do it is completely the opposite. So I teach people how to have those conversations up front, because in the process of having those conversations, that's where you really get to learn more about who it is you're meant to serve. What keeps them awake at night? What are their demographics? What are they looking for? What are they aspiring for? When you figure out all of that and you get somebody to actually give you money for whatever it is you're offering, like I said, you validate your business idea, you validate your ability to work for yourself. But then the best part too is for somebody to come and work with someone like you, Hinley, as a copywriter. They have everything they need to be able to give you to do your job correctly.
Ooh, that's exactly right. Because when you have that conversation, you're able to tell, like, okay, is this actually a good fit for me? Is this a client that I want to work with? Exactly. And through those conversations, and that's why I always tell people that you need to have more conversations with your ideal clients, because it's within those conversations that you get a lot of market research, right?
Mm-hmm.
Be able to understand more about what they want and what they're trying to go for,
Mm-hmm.
and able to know exactly what they want, and you're able to build your offer around that. You're able to communicate your offer's value better, and B, you're going to be able to make better content.
Exactly. And that should never change. So even as part of my own strategy, and now that, my business is a bit more mature, I do more content than what I would recommend for my clients, obviously. But with that said, I'm still doing market research every day. Just today at 1 o'clock, I did an entrepreneur interview. somebody, not a sales pitch, nothing. I just wanted to hear, what she was struggling with, what was preventing her from getting her business out there, because these needs change, right? And if you don't have your pulse on exactly what your clients need in the moment, somebody else is going to come along who is willing to put in the work and to have those conversations and build up that trust, and you're going to get left behind. So definitely, I couldn't agree more. But one of the things that I love about networking, which I know is why we're, talking here today, is networking makes it really easy to accomplish multiple buckets in building your business. It helps you, number one, connect with people who can help connect you with the people you're meant to serve. So it can put you in touch with people who put you in touch with people who can get you clients. But it also helps you build up these skills that we're talking about in terms of being comfortable pitching your offer, testing different messaging that works without it being, stuck on the internet forever, right? A conversation is here and then it's gone 5 minutes later. So we don't invest as much into interpersonal conversations from a mental standpoint or a mindset standpoint as we do with finished content that's permanent, more or less, that's on the internet. So it makes it much, much easier, especially for new business owners, to put themselves out there because there's not as much on the line. And it's easier for them to build up that confidence that they need, because the confidence is the most important part to be able to build a successful business. Because if you're not confident in what you're doing, how is somebody else going to give you money to then solve the problem for them?
Yeah, confidence is so key. So you covered a lot there that I want to get into. So the first thing obviously is yes, just because you're networking with somebody who doesn't end up becoming a client, right? Doesn't mean that it's the end of the road. It doesn't mean that that's a dead end. Obviously not. I have so many people in my network who aren't clients, who might even just be other copywriters, right? Obviously we're not hiring copy. But that being said, they can, if they're at capacity, they can connect people with you. Or if they don't write the same, because copy is so ever expansive, it's so all encompassing. I actually know someone who specializes in content and blog posts and captions, and I am not about that life. I hate blogs. And so we basically created a synergistic relationship where I'll send over any content projects to her, she'll send over any copy projects to me, or the opportunities that come her way, right? And so it's very good to connect to people who might not even be clients, because they'll refer you or they'll connect you with people who would be, right?
Such a great point.
And another point too is that you can also provide more value to your clients as well. Obviously, when you're new, you're not thinking about all of that yet. But as clients come to you for bigger projects, right? I can't do social media, I can't do design, but I can bring on people onto that project. Can. So I'm able to bring more value to that client and potentially keep them as a client. So
exactly.
Yeah, network is very powerful. And then the other thing as well, so reaching, I know that a lot of people aren't necessarily content creators, right? And so networking does help with saving time on content, because you're wasting so much time on content that might not even work, that might not even ring true.
Well, I mean, think about it too. It's much easier to demonstrate your expertise in a subject by speaking about it than it is to articulate it, writing it, and posting it somewhere. I learned networking the old school way. I call it Mad Men era, where you went to a diner and you shook hands and you had business cards, the way that old folks do it, right? And I'm old, by the way. I just turned 40. But anyway, so with that said, the way that you do that, usually they give you 60 seconds if you go to a meeting like that, where you got to have your elevator pitch down. Otherwise, you lose people's attention. But the same exact elevator pitch applies if you're introducing yourself to somebody online, right? So it's all the same, but instead of having to meet somebody in a diner, now with the internet, you have this ability to be able to meet people from around the world, from anywhere. I mean, even us on this live stream right now, you have an opportunity to connect with everybody who's left a comment on here, and introduce yourself. Let's just do that as a call to action right now. Introduce in the comments who you are, why you're here, and who you want to be connected to. And let's turn this into a networking event, because that's what this is all about, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
But
let's
do it. So drop those comments down. So, because either myself or Henley might have people we could refer you to too. It's so much easier, even in this quick conversation, we've been on what, like 10 minutes so far, how much value we were able to unpack in that amount of time. Think about how long and how many posts it would take to share that same level of expertise via content.
It would take.
It would take a really long time. It would take a really, and plus you have the algorithm working against you because it's not going to show every single piece of content.
Exactly.
So speaking and meeting people face to face, or meeting people even online for coffee talks, which I know, Henley, you and I met because you participated in my research project.
I did.
Which is great. So thank you so much for that. But that's one of the reasons that I do it, to make these kind of authentic connections that we were talking about. But it's through this that we demonstrate our expertise, that we're able to build our networks, and that we're ultimately able to grow our businesses.
Right. Absolutely. So just as a question from the audience, right? Obviously, it's not a direct question from the audience, but I know that they're thinking about it. So what makes up a strong elevator pitch? Just to help those people, typing in who they are and what they do.
Mm-hmm. Right. What's your elevator pitch? So I find the easiest way, if you're stumped with this, is you want to call out who specifically it is you help. And if I actually recommend different versions of this pitch depending on how it's being used, right? So for example, and I'm just going to use myself as an example because it's the easiest, right? So I am an entrepreneurship coach, and I help aspiring entrepreneurs land their first paying client, right? So that's very quick, very to the point. Okay, if I meet somebody who desires to start a business but has no idea where to start, I'm going to put them in touch with Corey. But if I was in a conversation, let's say I'm at that diner exchanging business cards, right? And a meeting, we're just having conversation, is not a formal elevator pitch. I use a different version of it. So for that, I say, hi, I'm Corey. When somebody says, oh, what do you do? I just say, I help people become entrepreneurs. And leave it at that. So Henley, in hearing that, what would be the next thing that you would ask me?
Okay, so how?
Exactly. And then that gives me the platform to share exactly how I transform it. So it makes for a more engaging conversation without talking at people. So there's a lot that you could do strategically in how you network and how you prepare your pitches and how you talk about what it is you do to be able to get people interested and engaged, that they remember you. And one of the best parts about learning this is that when you do it and you go out and you do the more traditional networking, I got news for you. Ain't nobody actually go out networking with a strategy. So people will remember you just because you have your stuff together. They'll be like, oh, they knew what they were doing, blah, blah, blah. They had their pitch down.
Oh, yeah.
It was so polished. And really, we're not talking about anything really complex, right? We're talking about, okay, well, how do I explain who it is I serve and what I help them with in a sentence?
Exactly. Yeah. Like I remember I went to my first networking event and I had no portfolio. This is way back when I first started. I had no portfolio. I had no past clients. I had nothing. I went to this networking event, and there was this like circle where everybody was like standing up and telling people what they did. I was like, I can't remember what my pitch was, but it went something along the lines of, hi, I'm a copywriter. I help businesses write the words that go under marketing. And yeah, if anybody needs help with that, if they don't have time to write those words, then let me know and I'll sort you out. And I first paying client right from there. It was like blog posts, which I hated, but to start where you start. You have to start somewhere. Yeah. So Tara from Michigan says, I am a time management coach for new moms looking to eliminate guilt and stress. Yeah. Okay. So what do we think of that? I think it's a solid elevator pitch.
That's solid. Well, Tara learned from our program, so it doesn't surprise me. She's totally on point.
Right.
And one of the things I think is great, and I really commend Tara for this too, is Tara is testing out a brand new niche too. So she's actually out there right now, over the last several weeks, that she's been introducing herself this way to see who else engages with her, to kind of figure out the right audience for her. Which is awesome. So Tara, I love it. It's great.
I think that's it. If anybody has any questions, you can leave it in comments, or you can say it now, ask it now, get it answered. But yeah, I think
feel free to DM too. I'm available. Any questions you guys have, reach out. If we're not connected, I invite you, please, let's follow each other. Oh, and I've got a coach in 2 minutes. I've got a coaching call. Oops. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, let's connect. Let's keep social on social. This has been great. Thank you, Henley, so much for the invitation to come and speak to everybody. And if there's anything I could do to help others help and serve and fulfill your purpose, definitely don't hesitate to reach out. I'm here to help.
Thank you so much for being on here and agreeing to this. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you
Thank
coming
you.
and sharing your value.
I truly hope that you found as much value in my conversation with Henley today as I did having it. If you're ready to learn how to put your brand new business out there using the low and no cost networking strategy that I shared in today's video, then my program, the Validate Your Biz Blueprint, could be the perfect solution for you. So go ahead, click the link in my description to book a call to discuss with me and my team whether or not it's the right fit for you. You can go ahead and check out these videos next to learn even more tips and strategies on getting your brand new business started up. If you like this video, be sure to go ahead, hit like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. I'll see you next time.